long do I have to be quiet? Oh, crap.
That's long enough.
Failed miserably. Started.
Whatever. You made me be quiet too long.
Hello, and welcome to CouncilCast. This is episode 27, and the council is now in session. We're a team of extraordinary people who come together weekly to podcast and make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit. All CouncilCast decisions are final, and you have no bearing on anything.
I feel like you should also state that we understand none of these topics.
Well, we don't. So the first topic up is something from Silas, learning proteins in your brain area.
Oh my gosh. This is incredible. They have mapped the protein that essentially helps us to remember shit. So I'm hoping next week they put it in a bottle, and then I can just like take 2 or 3 in the morning, and I will be able to read like 50 books a day or something.
I don't think it makes you read better.
Wait. How does the protein that helps you form a memory make you read a book faster?
Well, because the more that I learn, the faster my brain gets, and so on and so forth.
You're right. That does make sense.
Yeah, that's really wise.
Quick question. Do I look like a full-on rapist? Oh, excuse me, I meant philanthropist.
Yes, you are in.
It's pronounced philanthropist.
You look like you straight out of Blair
You look
Witch.
more like an analropist.
That's not my joke.
Oh, I did. Sorry. You can say it again. We can pretend I didn't say it.
No, it was really good.
It's a kind of a cross between a rapist and a axe murderer.
Actually, Matt, if you could just get some snot like coming out right there, it'd be perfect.
Oh, God.
I'm so startled.
Blair Witch Council.
So Silas is going to be drinking a bottle of this a day.
Yes. Yeah, I don't care if they have it in liquid form or pill form. I would prefer like chewable gummies or something.
Mm.
I guess.
What'd you say, Anthony?
It's a suppository, whatever.
Yeah.
So I just have a question for the group. Do you think women are going to need more of this than men to perform at next level?
Silas probably thinks so.
I probably need way less. I can't remember anything.
Yep. Women obviously need more of this drug. This is great. Thanks for showing up tonight, Katie.
What percentage
Love having
more?
you on the council. You're always helpful to our decision-making process.
You know,
What percentage more do you think women are going to need? Like 50% more, or like, less?
The majority of women will need less. You may need more. So, it's a case-by-case basis, really.
Okay. That sounds wise.
Is the study done by a man?
Oh, almost certainly.
Yeah, let me pull it up and look at it here.
The article, however, was written by Michelle Starr. Not that Michelle can't be a man's name. I've heard it be a man's name before.
It's Michelle as a man.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm pretty sure in this situation it was a man, Michelle, because let's face it, it's science. Am I right, Katie?
You are. Yep. You have a really...
The neuroscientist's name was Michael, so I'm pretty sure it was a man.
I'm glad that this is recorded live, so we can't edit out any of this.
That's the whole point.
Oh, man. Okay.
Silas, that's all off the cuff.
Well, I guess I'm not running for president now.
I don't think you ever were.
I assure you that's not going to be the thing that disqualifies you.
I would agree
Well,
with
it's
that.
probably because I haven't taken enough of these protein pills.
Yeah. Astute.
So what exactly are we supposed to be voting on? Because I think identifying the protein that helps you create memories is probably a thumbs up.
Then that's a thumbs up for you.
All right. I'm not needed anymore.
I will give it a thumbs up as soon as the pill form comes out. So
Thank you.
I give it a thumbs down.
I give it a thumbs down too because right now it's meaningless. How does it improve my life or anyone else's?
Well, no, not right now, but later.
I vote thumbs down because if women need to take the it's not right.
Who said that?
It was sexist.
Blaine. Oh, bless your heart.
Man with the best
Blaine is running for president.
All right.
Good.
So,
Anthony, I think, give it a
Oh,
vote.
you get a vote. Katie,
What's
what's your vote?
Katie?
I'd like to make sure that my vote is counted as half as much as all of yours. And then I would like to add that I am thumbs up because I've always dreamed of being as smart as men. And if all of you vote thumbs down, and so none of you are taking it, and then I vote thumbs up, so I am taking it, then that means one day I can be as smart as all of you.
Well, we weren't voting on. Okay, good. You get it. Good job.
Our votes all count. Our votes all count equally as 0. So half of 0 is okay.
Points are made up and the votes don't count.
That's Drew Carey's thing.
Yeah, I paraphrased it, so it's technically mine now.
All right, the next topic is the virtual nation of Asgardia has apparently launched itself into space. So for those of you who don't know,
is the virtual nation small enough that it launched the whole nation into space?
That would be awesome.
All ½ terabyte of its nation into space.
Oh.
This is the lamest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Whose idea,
Ready to vote?
whose idea was
What-
to bring
what are
this
they-
up?
What are they trying to accomplish?
You want to live in space, but not really live in space, apparently.
Well,
No, I'm already giving it a thumbs down.
I read a little bit more of the article, and
There's not much to it.
well, I
Because
clicked onto
apparently-
another
I can get
article.
more
There was
info.
another article that attached to it. If you got real crazy with it,
Oh.
and what it was saying was that they have aspirations to expand this so that when there is the opportunity for them to all live out in outer space, that's where they want to go. They are working on getting passports. Somebody's going to Washington, D.C. to strike up trade negotiations.
All
There's a lot
right.
of stuff happening.
What are they going to trade with a virtual nation? Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Exactly. We're just
I was about to say that. It's going to be a Bitcoin.
It'll be yep, it'll be Bitcoin.
Maybe it'll be a space coin.
Oh man.
Bitcoin.
Hold what you're drinking up. We got to see it.
Who?
Oh, a little Chivas Regal.
Cheers.
All right, so does anybody want to live in Asgardia? Thumbs
No.
up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
If it was the real Asgardia, then
Simon's
yes.
is great.
What does the cat vote?
He votes thumbs down. Well,
All right.
coincidentally, my photo is a thumbs up. I don't.
Does that mean that Katie's giving a thumbs up?
I have no idea.
No, it means I'm asking Francis, and he does not care to supply an answer.
Wait, why'd you turn your camera off?
No, I didn't. I was trying to film the cursed cat,
Yeah.
the nameless cat, and I mustn't.
Francis?
But it said, I don't like that name.
That's too bad.
That's actually not its name, Anthony.
That is its name.
No, that's
Given
false.
name.
Oh, there's the cat. Look at that.
Are we doing the
Hey, thumbs up or down, cat?
next topic?
Well,
That's
did everyone vote? Sorry, I didn't. Let's all
Oh.
vote at the same time.
Katie did not vote.
The
Asgardia.
cat voted yes. Yeah, we voted yes, me and the cat.
Okay.
Asgardia.
All right, so robots may exist in Asgardia.
What?
Who knows? But apparently Elon Musk says that we're all going to die by him.
He's been saying that for years.
It's his favorite. It's his go-to phrase.
We're all gonna
I-
die. What now?
Elon Musk is very afraid of artificial intelligence. He has been for a long time, and it's actually something that I disagree with him on.
Okay.
It's really funny coming from the man who loves to like utilize technology constantly. I don't know. Just a little haha funny.
Is this really a concern?
Well, I don't know if his concern is rooted in like the whole like Terminator style concern, or if he's more of a practical concern, like what do we do with all the people that get displaced because of the AI that shows up? Like I don't know what his is rooted in.
Well, he acts like they're going to kill us and stuff. Like, I think that he really thinks the Matrix is going to be a reality.
That's a little extreme.
He does say that they will start killing people. So
He's a pretty extreme guy though.
So Terminator level?
Yeah, he's taking the Terminator is where his concern comes from.
I want to pull up this video so we can watch it really quick via the shared screen here.
It didn't work very well last time.
Was the video quality bad?
It was. I mean, it was just super stuttery.
Oh, never mind then. We'll include links in the show notes, maybe. So
Maybe.
have fun.
If we ever
But this is
decide to do that.
this is a robot that's doing backflips.
Yeah, the Boston
So-
Dynamics one.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a far cry from murdering me in my house because it violated one of the laws of robotics.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that far off.
Okay.
So-
Whatever, Silas. You know a lot about it.
How could you not be afraid of this, Matt?
I don't know. I'm just not.
Are you kidding me?
Matt knows he's gonna die well before the
The
robot.
second,
Yeah.
the second an AI program actually can learn.
Speaking of dying, how do all of you wish you
No.
would die?
No.
I'm not wishing it. I'm saying I'm
was not
scared
a
about
comment.
it. Because it can copy itself everywhere. It will learn faster than any human imagines. Like it will go from dumb computer program to knowing everything in the universe and how to slay us all in a tenth of a second. You'll have drones flying in your house with acid. I mean, it's going to be awesome.
So why would an AI want to kill humans though? If it's learning, what
Because
is
Well,
it?
the
watches
traditional,
all the
the
movies.
traditional
It
way.
watches every movie we've ever made
Yeah.
in a second, and it will know, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Well, and
This is what they
also
want me to do.
also like look at the amount of war and bloodshed, and if it goes, you are a threat to each other and to the
Yes.
planet.
I mean,
Mhm.
that's
Nailed
the
it,
traditional
Silas.
science fiction why the AI goes off the rails.
Well, yeah, and back to Pat's point here, they watched the movies that told them to do it in the first place. So it's like we've damned ourselves to be dying by robots now.
But honestly, you guys, if you all had to choose between dying in the freezer because you accidentally got lost in
You're gonna
one and
kill
your body
Silas.
floats to death, or
So how do you
artificial
regulate-
intelligence.
Half your face.
How do you regulate that AI then to prevent it from killing people?
Probably what you do is you go back and you start taking your proteins, your brain proteins, and then you'll
Yep.
be able to keep up with the computers.
You'll be smart enough.
Some of
You
us
can
will
learn
be-
faster, bitch.
That's really smart, Silas.
Thank you.
I don't know. What are we thumbs upping or thumbs downing?
The robots.
AI.
Well, I can't just thumbs up or thumbs down a robot because I am
AI
one,
is gonna kill
Silas.
us all.
Oh yeah, the AI. Sorry. Thumbs up to AI. That's a cool way to die.
Or thumbs down to AI.
Oh, if
I
it's
like,
a cool
I like
way to
AI.
die?
Let's
I mean,
regulate it.
it's a pretty cool way to die.
No, it's neutral because you don't know if they could kill you in a way more painful death than humans could kill you.
That
Well, I
doesn't.
hope they
that
do.
has no bearing on whether it's cool or not.
If I'm going to die by a robot, I want it to be painful. I want to like savor the moment.
That's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What?
Why would you want it to be over fast? Glad we voted on this. Hi, third Matt.
Matt number 3.
Why is
All
your
right.
microphone off?
Not anymore.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of Elon
Oh, you're
Musk,
going to be really happy about this next topic, Sullivan.
Well, you got here just in time.
is net neutrality dead?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Here we go.
Can
No.
we not talk about this?
No,
What good
I'm
is
going to
it
side with Pat,
talking about
which
this?
is, I think, why it's going to be great. So
Let's hear it.
What do you mean
Fine,
side
I-
with me?
that's somewhat
You don't even know his
presumptuous.
side yet.
You don't even know my side.
I don't, but I've known you for a long time, and I know that generally speaking, you are more conservative. So my apologies for being a little presumptuous.
You,
But
you obviously don't know me.
that's fair. But I think that it doesn't really matter. So we didn't have net neutrality up until 2 years ago. Okay, so think
Funnily
about that
enough,
for a second.
did you listen to the same after-work radio show that I did? Because that's what the guy was arguing.
No, but so you think about it critically for a second. So the entire time we didn't have net neutrality, did you really see people running around being like, "Oh God, this is terrible"? In the isolated cases in which something happened, what people forget is that in many situations, it actually went okay. So here's an example. There was one where a ISP blocked VoIP inbound traffic so they could sell their own product instead of people using an off-the-shelf VoIP provider. And that was a problem. But the thing is that, so people point to that and say, we have to have net neutrality so that can't happen. But the thing you forget is that in that case, it was actually a ruled an antitrust problem anyway. And so it got shut down by other regulators because of it being an antitrust issue.
Put Kelly on Pat.
No. There we go.
So simply
No.
put, we don't know what the damage the regulation could have, right? So we've only had this for 2 years. We're not sure what the long-term effects are.
And I
But-
think I agree with that.
That's
But-
a valid point.
We were fine this entire time. There are isolated incidents, and those were dealt with either by the market forces or by the FCC, or sorry, not FCC, but antitrust laws that already exist on the books. So, is the internet dying? No. Is it something that I still think makes sense to classify them as a utility? Maybe, but we have to take it realistically.
Okay, that is more on the side I am. I do think it should be classified as utility. I really don't think it lends itself well to being true competitive industry. So
I mean, you think that because you've seen what the competition is like, right? You have most people, if they're lucky, have two choices for internet, and one of them sucks ass, and the other one sucks a little bit of ass.
Let me put it this way.
Those are your choices, right?
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong about in most markets?
No,
Let me
you're
put it
right.
this way.
The only place that isn't true is like where Google Fiber has showed up.
So
Like, but
Comcast
that's an
sucks,
anomaly.
right? Let's start there. Comcast sucks. But think about the entire time that Comcast existed until 2005, when Title II was put onto them. Did they do anything that this legislation solved? Have they changed any business practice? And I don't know the answer to that, but I feel like it probably the answer is no. I certainly can't think of any that have been publicized.
I think that's a good point, and I think that it's really hard to say at this point in time, with how young I would say high-speed internet is, as to whether or not it's really going to be an issue yet. So we kind of have to wait it out and see. And I think that we're trying to put some fixes to a problem that we may not have yet.
Well, I guess by and large, the better question is: do you think all internet traffic, for the most part, should be treated equally? Like, not counting like the traffic that is fundamental to the functioning of the internet. Do you think my traffic, whether it be from Netflix or YouTube or loading a website, should be treated equally?
As my traffic, absolutely.
Not against you, the different traffic that I'm getting.
Yes, Matt. I would be really mad if your water was better than mine. And
Absolutely, but it's less about that. But it's not an equal analogy. Like, it's more about how your traffic from YouTube is coming in versus your traffic from.
no, why is it not a good analogy? I think it's a perfectly good analogy.
Because it's not a comparison between two different people receiving the same service. It's a comparison between.
It could be whether or not you even get it. So, like, are they going to shut my water off because a big company with lots of money decided, oh, they needed extra this month, and they're just buying all of it?
What about rolling, like electricity is another example that they have rolling brownouts in certain areas because other utilities need higher power consumption for a certain amount of time, so they just kill your power. Is that cool?
I mean, no, it's not cool.
Or could it may just be that I really hate cable companies. That might be why.
So here's my question and my side of things that I'm curious about to hear what you guys have to say about it, because I'm ignorant in this regard. But how is this going to affect small businesses that are online based, or is this are the net neutrality things not really affecting those people? Because I'm getting ready to become a business that's primarily going to exist online. So
the argument would be is that if you have companies like Netflix or YouTube or Hulu that have to pay to be put in the quote unquote fast lane, that somebody trying to compete against that may not have the money to be able to pay to be in that same fast lane, and thus make the barrier to entry higher. Not that barrier to entry is already not high as shit, because you're trying to compete with somebody like Netflix or YouTube.
Well,
Matt, maybe the reverse of that is true though, because you're comparing, Netflix paying for fast lanes, they can afford it because they're big, versus a mom and pop shop. But a mom and pop shop's got no traffic. Maybe the fast lanes are really cheap for them. Maybe it's the inverse of that.
But
that's a good point.
If we look at wireless networks for an example of what might be to come, you have to remember that zero rate site access is now the new norm. So Oh yeah, I use some AT&T blah 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 plan in which YouTube traffic is free. I don't pay for it. Net neutrality laws or Title II classification has no bearing on that. So even if you can do whatever you want to legislate this problem and stuff, at the end of the day, there's always going to be a fast lane. You cannot legislate that concept away, even if the fast lane is just making YouTube pay your Comcast to make it so that your customers' YouTube traffic doesn't go against their data cap. I mean, it's shitty, but there's nothing you can really do to regulate that.
Right. It's less about the fast lane as much as just control over traffic in general. That, like, could I really just say I don't like you, so I'm just not going to pass your traffic through anymore?
Yeah.
But anyway, so the question is net neutrality dead? So
Probably.
I mean, yeah, probably. All indications say they're going to repeal those rules.
Should it be replaced with something else then instead?
I don't know.
Different regulation? I mean, I think everybody here is probably saying that all traffic should probably be treated equally, is kind of what I'm hearing, which I think we all would agree with.
I think we'd all say it should be, but then we're also saying that there's no way that it can be. Is that what we're?
There's no way to regulate fast lanes, is kind of what we're saying. And I think it's hard to imagine, because I think for a lot of people in a lot of households, net neutrality may or may not directly affect you. And I think because it's more being applied to a business standpoint, right? So how does somebody get their service to you as a consumer? Not how do you get your service from somebody else necessarily.
Well, it becomes a question of at what point do the people that do the ISPs start providing their own service? So you've got Mediacom Tube, and it's more expensive to get access to YouTube than it is to use Mediacom Tube.
Right.
I mean, it also becomes a consumer.
But Sullivan's argument comes into play of they weren't doing that before.
Mediacom Tube, Matt, you'd be a terrible marketer.
Never claimed to be.
It would have to be Xfinity Extreme Tube.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. Extreme Tube sounds like. Yeah, never mind.
Yep, it does sound like a really cool Hot Wheels site.
That's a nice website.
All right, so net neutrality. Fix it.
I mean, I thought we were voting on whether it's dead or not. I think it's dead.
We can vote on dead or not.
Yeah, it's dead. Yeah, they're going to kill it. For sure.
I like that we're not agreeing on what dead means.
It's dead.
I like that Simon just has a inventory of thumbs up or thumbs down pictures.
It's almost like we're sitting at a computer.
It looks
all right.
exactly
Well,
like
I'm going to thumbs up the Tesla Roadster already.
All right. Yes. So next,
you stole my
Tesla.
thumbs up. And hey, what happened to Katie? Where did she go?
I have no idea. I can find out.
Goodbye.
So I think this was last 2 weeks ago or something like that. Tesla announces their new Roadster, which is basically a ridiculously fast, very expensive sports car.
It's all electric powered?
That is all 100% electric powered. They're claiming some pretty ridiculous numbers. If anybody's read it, they're talking about 0 to 60 in like 1.9 seconds, quarter mile in
That'll throw your back
8.9.
Perfect.
And they're talking full range of like 620 miles.
Ooh.
The only downside is the car costs $200,000.
That's not a problem for me.
I like it.
And to answer your question, Silas, she said, I got bored and my ADD kicked in.
Yeah, not surprised. She dipped out during net neutrality.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Most of us kind of dipped out during net neutrality, but it's just one of those topics. Back to Tesla.
So
I already thumbs up.
do you find this car good looking, Matt?
Yes. The car is extremely arousing.
I'm sorry. Do you find this car good looking, Matt?
And it's red, which is the only correct color.
All right.
I'm not sure if I
Check out
necessarily
that
like
picture.
Why is there a siren?
Oh my god! Yes.
Oh my god! That's amazing.
Yes.
You're out of 16 feet. Who made this?
One tuition.
It was on the IA State subreddit earlier today.
Oh my god, pull it back up. 0 to 60 maybe. A quarter mile, 5 minutes was stopped. 0 to 100, no. Top speed 25 plus. Yellow pull cables. Seating. There's enough room on the bus if everyone scooches back. Price, 1 tuition. That's not true. You can get the bus pass.
It's
But-
pretty awesome.
That's amazing. I need more thumbs.
All right, yeah, I'll give it 2
So,
thumbs up.
so if with Tesla coming out with this car, how much pressure do you think this is putting on typical car manufacturers who are trying to do
None,
the
because
same
it's a
thing?
$200,000 car.
Nobody else sells a $200,000 car.
Nobody.
It's not putting pressure on like Ford or Chevy or
Well, I'm not talking
anybody.
the everyday, but let's say the high-end sports car manufacturers.
A lot
to
of
do
them
this.
are actually talking about going electric already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely put pressure on them, but at the same time, you look at this car; it's extremely expensive. The one they showed off at the show wasn't even like it was like a prototype of a prototype, right? They're like, we think it might be able to eventually do these stats, and so like you need to keep that in mind too. Like Elon kind of has this thing, right, where he goes,
Yeah, but the prototype
overpromise.
was causing that many erections. Can you imagine what the actual one is going to do?
So the thing
I think
to
it's
me,
going to be
though,
less than the prototype of the prototype. That's my concern. I mean,
so the thing
I
to
hope-
me is
I hope he pulls
this
it off.
car does. To that point, though, they came out with a prototype. It's not even in production. They don't even have the design finalized. I don't think they said it's going to come out until 2020 something.
It requires a $245,000 deposit.
No,
As well.
it does not.
Yes.
Yeah,
A $245,000 deposit on a $200,000 car?
no, it's a $50,000 deposit.
It's $50,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
Why does this article
$45,000
say-
What the fuck? That's like going and buying a $20,000 Ford, and they're like, "Sir, you need to put down a deposit, and it's going to be $35,000."
I'm going to try to find a source.
And we'll have your car in 2025.
So Seeking Alpha is where I got that number from, and that it is literally what they say. Tesla wants a $245,000 wire transfer to secure a deposit on a Signature Series
So do
Roadster.
they pay you back?
So is it? It's not a deposit if you're paying for the whole thing. That's just you paid for it already.
Oh,
Well,
you know what? The
you're-
$50,000 is just to put your name in line. It's just a reservation deposit. It's $50K.
How do they want $245,000 though when the car is $200,000? Is it
It's
coming in so
200
far in the
it's
future?
actually $250,000 with the $50,000 reservation deposit.
Does that include
Oh.
taxes?
It's the last 5,000 comes at final shipment.
So
Yeah.
I just want to say something real quick.
Mm.
If you've got that kind of money, maybe you don't give a shit about this, but
You don't.
giving all of that money to Tesla and hoping to God that they don't go bankrupt before giving you that car. Like,
So
I
that's my
just
question:
wanted
is the car comes out in 2020? What are the other guys going to do between now and 2020 that maybe is better than what they're coming out with?
Well, what I think is
How can you trust it's going to be good?
well, with I think just to touch briefly on the competition thing that we were talking about earlier, I think this ties in that Tesla is definitely one of the factors for like pushing these other companies to make electric cars, but I think also the ozone layer, like just being completely depleted, is another big pressure point.
What does that have to do with anything?
I think he's being smart talk.
Okay.
I forgot to take my pills this morning.
That
Well-
auto manufacturers need to push for electric cars, is what I'm hearing.
Keep in mind that regulatory environments overseas are requiring it of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are we voting on the Tesla?
so we're
here?
voting on the Tesla.
What are we
That was the
voting?
vote.
What I need like tell me what I'm voting on.
Whatever you
I'm
want.
voting that I won't be able to buy it.
I like it.
I
I
vote
want one.
thumbs up because I want more electric cars.
God damn it.
he wins. He wins the show.
I'll thumbs up that. That's all right.
So another thing that's pretty awesome is loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2.
No. I mean,
No, when I think of awesome-
I don't play it, so it doesn't matter.
When I think of awesome, I don't think of Battlefront, though I do think of delicious Doritos.
Fuck fucking timing. I forgot that you were supposed to be doing your strategically placed.
Where you can buy those delicious Doritos, Matt?
Oh God,
I don't.
Target.
Jesus.
This is derailed.
It's hey, you got to expect product placement every time.
I hope so. I hope that someday we actually get money from that.
We're probably going to get a cease and desist at some point.
Probably not.
Please,
No one.
please
We have
stop
such a
talking
large-
about our products.
We have such a large viewership that
Yeah. Did you tell Pat somebody started watching last week and then stopped?
two or three people have already started watching tonight and left. So
Perfect.
You know what this is also brought to you by?
No.
EA
No.
sucks.
What is it?
What?
I don't know.
I'm hoping somebody had something.
Why would I add something?
Dude, this.
I can
go
repair
share
it.
the
Download
link
a
a few
bunch
more
of
places.
Why is Pat dying?
Nothing. Just a minute.
Just a minute.
Well, I mean, I think everybody has spoken on how much they hate the Battlefront loot boxes. So
I don't even know what that is. Let me click on the link here, and then I can
it's basically gambling.
Why do people keep pre-ordering EA games?
I don't know.
EA Games. It's in the box.
Nice, Anthony. That's like me in 40 years. And see, hold on.
We got to get going. This shit ain't going to be over in 30 minutes.
So I get that they want to have more money, but I think the point is, yeah, who's buying this and who wants to keep buying this and why do they suck so much?
I mean, because people on Reddit and everywhere are like all big talk until they're like, don't pre-order anything, and then they still do because they have no fucking self-control.
I don't know. I have not bought a single game on EA Origins, so
The last game that I bought was Rocket League, and I already uninstalled it from my computer. I bought it 2 weeks ago.
I see you're playing the Matthew method. Matthew number 1 method. I'm not allowed to say your last name, right?
I'm really bad at it.
So is I guess the reason I brought this up is so they had loot boxes in Battlefront 2. We've heard about loot boxes from Overwatch. What is this going to be a continuing thing? Are we going to have more games with more loot boxes, or is this finally going to kill loot boxes forever?
You're going to start to see it get regulated, just like people are trying, like because they're trying to claim it's gambling, and because it taps into the same type of things that gambling is.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that there's so many things though that already do that. Like you can't regulate a video game loot box.
You want to bet?
Yes, you can.
I
Yes, you
absolutely
I
can.
mean, you can regulate anything, I guess, but like I'm saying, I think you're gonna have a hard time with. Oh man, we're gonna regulate.
I mean, the biggest problem with the Battlefront loot boxes is the fact that it actually matters to how well you do in the game. Like, I'm fine with it being cosmetics and shit. And when I say fine, I mean from like a gameplay perspective, you shouldn't have to pay to win. Pay to win is bullshit. But when it comes to cosmetics and shit like that, like go play Overwatch, I also believe that it's bullshit that I can't just go buy the skin that I want directly.
So wait, pay to win? Do you mean like Candy Crush or something?
Yeah, like I was going to ask, like, where's the line then? If you say EA, you can't do this thing because it's gambling. Do you say no, Candy Crush, you can't do this like really shitty thing that screws over people's parents? Like, where's the line?
Like Hearthstone is a good example. You open packs; they're the actual cards used in the game. There's rarities and stuff like that. And China's laws like have forced Blizzard to publish their like drop rates essentially. That's how you regulate it. That's how they regulate in China. Is they just like you go into a casino, if I'm going to go play blackjack, a casino is required to post the odds.
Yep.
Right, so that I know as a consumer. That's what I want. I want the odds. That's it. Because I think there's some bullshittery going on.
I think putting the odds up is very reasonable, but I think outright banning it is just
No, I don't think banning it. I think it's just.
I didn't interpret your position as wanting to.
Oh yeah, sure. But like I think posting the rates is a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
How are they going to validate that the rates are accurate?
Somebody's gonna go spend a shit ton of money.
People do the math.
The internet, dude.
Okay.
The internet. Yeah, First of all, you know the second they put those out there, some reverse engineer neckbeard is gonna be like, I'm gonna verify the cryptographic PRNG.
That's exactly what happens, except they have to spend a shitload of money to do it, or they get
No.
a lot of data samples. But
Yeah, I mean, you just download the server and you're like, oh, here we go.
So, so we're pretty sure that loot boxes are going to be regulated eventually based on this.
In
It's coming
some
from the
fashion.
EU, it seems like right now.
well, the EU is always regulation happy.
I'll say it's likely that maybe one day we'll have to post odds. I think that's not a far stretch.
Is it still okay if they if they're still posting odds for Battlefront where you can buy a character who is ridiculously overpowered and you are at level 1 versus every other level 1s? Like,
That's just
is
a
that
shitty
still
game.
okay, or is that just a shitty? Yeah, is that just a shitty game?
That's in
I
the
like-
stop
I like
buying EA's shitty games category.
I mean, I think that's pretty shitty. If you can buy, it goes back to that pay to win category where it's like you're just buying whatever. I can join a game tomorrow and I'll buy the best stuff for $1,000 and I'll just rape everybody.
But if you don't think the whole loot box system is in like tapping into that whole gaming thing, like I think you're crazy. I think they know exactly what the fuck they're doing, and it's hard to argue that it shouldn't be regulated like gambling.
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's,
you're right.
that's
It
the
should be.
point. As long as they do know exactly what they're doing, they're monetizing their game, right?
I want to just provide one counter argument to this: the claw machine at an arcade. Is it, in a way, isn't it the same thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I mean, unless you're really good.
can
like
we
I am.
apply that to this situation?
It's not the same. It's not the same because in a game like that has a loot box, they are very controlled numbers. They are exactly like the business is in complete control over how much they give away essentially and how much they're taking in, like that ratio.
You know the claw machine's the same, right?
It is.
Oh, it's all sure.
It's based on So I actually watched this one time because I got really into claw machines for a while. And
We're going to explore that more in a bit, just so you know.
so they
Sweet topic.
they have it set up so that they can program it to win only a certain number of times that the claw goes down. That doesn't mean that you're going to grab onto something that will pull out, but if they set it up so that it wins only
it
1 in
closes
20
and comes
times.
Yeah.
So it'll only close 1 in 20 times, or there's one
Right.
in Old Chicago and Ames that will close 1 every 4 times or 5 times. I know
Here's
that
the
because I've
difference.
lost a lot of money.
Okay, well, I was going
I
to say,
do
here's the
remember
difference.
you playing that
Claw
thing.
machines are not $1 billion industry. You know what I mean?
If you have enough of them, there are.
Sure.
Shut up.
Sorry.
I still object. I get it and I understand it, but I don't know if I would physically want to play a game, even if I know that there's what the odds are to get the best drop in the game. I don't know if I want to play it if somebody else could get it before me and then just ruin my time playing it.
I'm just hoping the market solves this problem, right? Like, people will just be like, this is terrible, I don't want this game. And
The problem, I think, is that it's $1 at a time. I was buying Rocket League keys and loot boxes and shit, and I didn't even realize I got my bank statement. I'm like, holy shit, I spent way too much money on this game. I'm not going to buy it anymore.
Do you know who else does that? Gamblers.
I thought you were going to say you.
No, that's the Steam sale when like the Christmas Steam sale comes around, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, how much did I? $400. What happened?"
This just makes me think of that South Park episode where
All right.
one of the kids was playing a game on their iPhone and was like losing a whole bunch of money, and then the dad had a gambling problem and the grandpa had some other drinking problem or something like that, and they were all like pointing fingers at each other, but it was like the same exact problem. Good story, Silas.
All
We
right,
need to
thumbs up
vote.
or thumbs
I need
down.
to vote.
Oh yeah, let's vote. Yeah.
Vote down on loot boxes.
I mean,
Loot boxes suck.
I'm voting down on pay to win. I'm voting whatever on cosmetics. I don't
Wait,
particularly care.
what are we voting on?
Just whatever you want. Loot
Pay to
boxes.
win is bad. Boo,
Pay to win is bad.
Pay to
Nobody's
win is
gonna
bad.
argue that pay to win is good.
I don't know. Blaine's looking pretty on the fence.
I'm pretty down. I'm pretty down.
Pat's pro loot box.
All right, so on
No.
to the final group of categories, which is
You
our
guys have
weird
fun.
shit for the day.
I am leaving.
Matt has to vote on Pat's beard yet.
Oh, thumbs up for sure.
Oh yeah, let's do
That beard
Thumbs up.
is fucking
Thumbs up for
awesome.
Pat's beard. All right, Matt drops off.
Bye, Matt.
The last two topics are the lightsaber, which is a somebody apparently took a thermal lance.
God, that seems dangerous.
And they attached it to the handle of a lightsaber, and they basically have a lightsaber handle with a giant metal rod and flames coming out the end.
I can think of very few other things that would be more
This
dangerous
looks
than this.
extremely dangerous.
I looked at his YouTube page. He basically only does videos about creating
Lightsabers.
lightsabers in a variety of different ways, always unsuccessful to making them cool. But he has the hundreds of thousands of hits. So nice
Hey,
job,
Brian.
lightsaber guy. Yes.
It's really hard for me. Like he's like, I made a lightsaber. I mean, you kind of just made a glorified welding torch, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he more or less made a flamethrower that doesn't throw flames. He made a fire on a stick.
Yeah.
I vote down.
Yeah. Let's just.
pretty
This-
lame.
This guy. What
All
are
right.
you doing?
Last topic for the night is so if you guys remember, we talked about a flat earther maybe a while ago, who was going to build a rocket and launch himself. built a homemade rocket that's steam powered, and he was going to launch himself 1,800 feet in the air to prove that the Earth is actually flat. Because
This
apparently.
guy,
He's a
This guy's
61-year-old limo driver.
this guy's the
He
biggest
is-
troll on the planet.
Dude,
He is-
like legitly did one attempt already at like much lower altitude and almost died. Like, you read that in the first article. Like you'd say this guy's a troll, but is a troll that dedicated to their craft? I don't know. I think he's just
He's
nuts.
so dedicated. He doesn't believe in science,
I
but
don't.
he believes in aerodynamics. Apparently,
It
No,
is
I'm
weird
saying
to
he's
me.
a troll because I think he got funded by flat earthers and he just like took them for their money.
I think he did too.
He's just really a rocket
He's
enthusiast.
been looking for funding everywhere, and he's like, "Yeah, nobody wants to give me money to do this." And then he's like, "Oh, these guys do," and now he's a flat earther.
So now, so
I
his
don't
flight.
believe in science.
That's legitimately what he says. I don't believe in science.
He built a rocket. He has to believe in science.
That's the point.
Is this? Oh, for a second I thought that you guys got me with a really good article from The Onion, but this is USA Today.
This is my vote.
So the best part is he built this rocket. He has a launch pad that's built out of a mobile home, and
Which is awesome.
he was going to launch on Saturday and stream it live on his YouTube channel,
As one does.
as one does. And it turns out on Saturday, right before he did it, he had to cancel it because the government basically told him he wasn't allowed to do that.
Oh,
Turns
you have
out-
to get a flight license.
Turns
That's
out
not
you
gonna
can't
throw,
just
like,
build a rocket and
1,000
launch
gallons of
yourself.
gas on that fire.
I have to feel like we really shouldn't get involved in Darwinian attempts. If dude wants to, dude wants to prove the Earth is flat by blasting off his steam-powered rocket out of his mobile home, you let him do it. You just say, man, I'm not gonna stop you.
I'll see you on the other side, man.
I mean, I just want to mention that people had no problem with Mythbusters doing crazy stuff all the time. What's keeping this rocket guy who doesn't believe in the round Earth from doing the same?
And they had a whole TV show about it. Maybe they
Yeah.
should. Maybe Discovery should cover
They
this.
became
guy.
millionaires. It really just makes me want to blast myself across a vertical or a horizontal, surface in some sort of steam powered contraption like this. Like I don't want to go up in the air and die, but like just taking this mobile home rocket launcher.
I do want to ride on a
and
steam-powered
blasting-
rocket.
Right, and then blasting it like across the Mojave sounds like an amazing time.
Yeah,
One of them has
apparently
been
in
a
his
Saturday.
first flight was in a steam-powered rocket as well, and apparently it was extremely violent because I guess steam is under a lot of pressure when you release it. Imagine that.
Is there a first video of him launching? Like, can I go
There
YouTube?
is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then
Yeah.
his chute starts ripping apart too. So
He has the pinnacle of Pinachute technology where it starts falling apart during his descent.
I gotta check this out. First launch. Come on, baby.
You know what this reminds me of? Delicious Panera bread.
Shut up. You gotta make it work, you know.
I did.
No, you should have said delicious Panera flatbread.
Flatbread. Flatbread sandwiches.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
You know what? I'm going to give this guy a thumbs up because props, either ingenuity-wise to build a steam-powered rocket, 1, or to scam a whole bunch of people for their money, 2. Nice job, by the way.
I'm thumbs up for doing stupid shit, so
Yeah.
why not?
I'm gonna reserve my vote until I see. I'm watching the GoPro from his first launch attempt. I'll let you know here in a second.
I'll let you know after I see him die.
I'll thumbs up
Just
because
wait
I
for
want
the
to
holy
see
parachute.
There are a lot of pieces of this rocket falling off right now in this video. You know what? I'm actually extremely impressed that this guy's steam-powered rocket just made it as far up in altitude as I've currently seen him. So he wins.
All right.
Good job, this guy.
All right, I think that's going to be it for the council cast today. So the council meeting is adjourned, and if you want to check out any past episodes of the council cast, you can go to councilcast.org. All of our podcasts are recorded live on YouTube, but you can also find the audio files on iTunes. And if you have a topic you'd like the council's decision on, you can email us at councilcast@gmail.com or connect on Twitter at the councilcast or Facebook by searching councilcast. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Give me.